All right, good evening, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here with High Seas Cruising. Welcome to our live video. All right, Tiffany's ready to go. I see Desiree is already here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, here we are tonight. I'm going to start tongue tying it right off the bat. All right, so tonight we're here to talk about last week's cruise on board the Disney Magic. Do a little bit of recap, some likes, some dislikes, share some thoughts, share some feelings. And I think in this particular cruise, Tiffany and I had two different experiences. I really think we did because Disney is your cruise line.
Yes.
That's the one that you like the best,
Yes.
right? The one you enjoy the most. Me, yeah, not so much. Not so much. I would have to say that Disney, while it does have its own unique approach to cruising, and it has a lot of good things that it offers, and they do a lot of things right, I just don't think that's my particular style of cruising.
No.
That's just kind of how I feel about it these days.
Well, maybe 20 years ago it would have been when the kids were smaller. And
if we'd had little kids, if we'd have had the grandchildren with us, something like that, I think it may have been a different experience. But I honestly prefer Royal Caribbean over Disney for that particular style of cruising. But let's go over the cruise. Do you have anything? What was your favorite part of the cruise?
meeting the princesses.
Meeting the princesses. That's always your favorite part.
I got to meet a new one. I've never met Mulan. We don't have any pictures of Mulan, and I've never got to meet Mulan. And she was one of the princesses this time. So that was exciting for me.
Yeah, and if you're a Disney fan, that is definitely one thing that Disney does. There are characters to meet all day long, every day on board the ship. You constantly see the characters out on the deck, taking pictures, interacting. We saw characters all the time. I got to see quite a few more Marvel characters than we've ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, you don't see, in the past, we haven't seen a whole lot of Marvel characters. So it was nice to see some characters from movies that I watch. So that part was good. And don't get me wrong. When I say it wasn't my favorite cruise, it wasn't my best cruise, may not be my first choice of a cruise. Any cruise is a good cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, it really just comes down to personal likes and dislikes when you're picking a cruise. So while it wouldn't be my first pick, it does not in any way, shape, or form mean it was a bad cruise.
No.
It doesn't mean it was a bad cruise. But you could tell some differences between Disney Cruise Lines and some of our other experiences with other cruise lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that started with Embarkation. Embarkation was slow.
Yeah.
It was extremely slow. Long lines, took quite a bit of time just to get on board the ship. And I think there's several factors that are involved in that. I don't think it was because the employees were doing anything bad, anything like that. But Disney only sails out of Galveston about 3-4 months out of the year. So they don't have a full-time presence there. Also, you have a lot of younger families. You have a lot of children getting on board the ship. I think that means more birth certificates versus passports, which takes more time. And they were also putting Magic Band trackers on all of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be programmed and all of that kind of stuff for each child before they can board the ship. And that, of course, slows down the line.
And we had a later embarkation date, a time than we normally do.
Right, but a later embarkation is usually faster.
Yeah.
Than when you get there, because everybody wants to get on as quickly as possible. So when you have a later afternoon embarkation, it is usually faster, not slower.
I think in this case with the birth certificates and the Magic Bands, that's what caused it to take it a little bit longer for us getting on.
Right. And like I said, it's not like, it's because they suck or, Disney's terrible. Like I said, it's a situation, and I think that's what caused the longer lines and the delays, and it's just their process.
Mm-hmm.
So, these are just things to be aware of if you're going on a cruise, especially, going out of Galveston. When we sailed out of Port Canaveral, out of Disney's dedicated cruise terminal, it was a whole different experience. But that's dedicated to Disney. That's all they do is Disney, day after day, year round.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different experience. Like I said, they don't sail out of Galveston full time. And you could tell because they don't even use the facial recognition system in Galveston for Disney. You got it for Carnival, you got it for Roy, you got it for all the others. But for whatever reason, Disney doesn't even use the facial recognition. They actually have custom agents there. So even when you're disembarking off the ship, you have to get in the line. You actually have to pull out your passport and go through a live agent, and it's not facial recognition. I think that also has to do with the fact they're not there full time.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're using it in Port Canaveral, or if that's just not something Disney's adopted, but it slows up the process. So you get a different embarkation on Disney than you do on the others. It's not as fast, it's not as quick, something just to kind of be aware of.
Yeah.
But we got on the ship, and of course Disney is one of the 2 cruise lines that now does the old style muster drill. While we were gone on the cruise, Norwegian announced they are also reverting back to the traditional muster drill. So we had to go down at 4 o'clock to our muster station with everybody else, go through the presentation, they scan your card, and then you get released. Took about 20 minutes.
Yeah, by the time it was all said and done, but when they release everybody at the same time, which causes bottlenecking at the staircases, at the elevators, and it's just chaos trying to get through that crowd.
Yeah, that is probably the biggest negative to the traditional style muster drill, because ours was in one of the restaurants. Our muster station was in Animator's Palette. So you still go to different places around the ship. It's not necessarily outside on the deck, though some of them were. It really depends on where your stateroom is. We were on deck 6.
Mm-hmm.
So ours was in the restaurant down on deck 4. But like Tiffany said, when it's all said and done, the entire ship is released at once. Now, there were 2,366 passengers on the ship. So you can imagine 2,300 people all trying to basically get to the sail away party, which was at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
So even by the time we got up there, I couldn't even record the sail away because I never could get close enough to it. It was already completely packed.
Yeah.
And the Disney Magic is not a very big ship.
No, with it being a smaller ship, there was only one deck above the Lido, which normally there's 2 or 3 decks above. And there was only one, and it was already jam-packed.
Right. And it was completely jam-packed. So if I'd have tried to video the sail away, I essentially would have been videotaping the back of someone's head the entire time. So didn't even really get to see it. Couldn't even see it by the time we got up there. And that's just the effect of being the old style muster drill, a traditional one. Had it been, the way it was, because Disney was doing an e-muster. You just go down, scan your card, do it like any other cruise line. We'd have been in position like we should have been. But it created a lot of bottlenecking, a lot of jam-packed. And because there were so many kids on the ship, there was also quite a few strollers on the ship. So you imagine 2,300 people and several hundred strollers on top of it, trying to get in elevators, get to the stairs. And these elevators on the Disney Magic are super tiny. Super, super tiny. It says you can fit 12 people in one of these elevators. I would like to see 12 people fit in one of these elevators.
12 people with the weight capacity of 975.
Yeah, 12 people, but the weight capacity of the elevator was only 975 pounds. So 12 children, that all weigh way less than 100 pounds. So, you were not going to get 12 people in there. And there's, 4 elevators, front, mid, and aft. 2,300 people basically trying to cram into elevators to get from deck 4 back up to deck number 9. So it was a bit challenging as far as that goes.
Yeah.
And of course it was chilly.
Yes.
Well, it was only cold going and then on the day back. Mexico was great. It was 90 degrees while we were in Mexico.
Yeah, we were sweating in Mexico, but it was nice.
It was great. So it was only chilly leaving Galveston and coming back into Galveston. So what did you think about your cabin?
I liked it. I thought it was big enough for us. Sailing in January with the balcony, we didn't use it as much as I normally would because it was chilly. But I did get to get some sun.
Now, if you hadn't seen the cabin tour, you can take a look at that. Disney uses a split bathroom setup.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually kind of has like two bathrooms. On one side, you have a sink and a tub shower combination. On the other side, you have the toilet and the sink. It's great for families. People can be taking a shower, going to the restroom. You can have two people getting ready at once. However, I think it does create some space issues because, like on the toilet side, and even you mentioned it, when you open the door, between the door handle and the sink is only about this much space. And it can be a bit of a tight fit trying to get in to use the bathroom.
Yes.
And because of the tub shower combination, you lose about this much space on the floor because you have to step into the tub. I'm only 5'6", and my head was not that far from the ceiling. I think if anybody 6 foot or taller was in this particular shower, I'm pretty sure their head is just banging or they're having to slouch to take a shower because it's not just a regular shower. So while I think the split bathroom has some pluses, I think it also creates some minuses because you lose a little bit of, like I said, simple entry into getting into where the toilet was. I'd say it can be challenging for some individuals.
Yeah, definitely.
Other than that, the room was great.
And they had your H2O products.
Disney does use the H2O products in their, shower gel, hair gel, conditioner, body wash, lotion, hand soap. They put all that out for you. I do happen to think that is the best smelling product that I've come across that a cruise line provides. But
You use it at home.
I like it. For some reason, that particular smell always makes me think about cruising. That is my cruising smell.
Yeah.
I can use it at home and it automatically just puts my mind back on a cruise ship. And it doesn't even have to be a Disney cruise ship. It's just a cruise ship that it reminds me of and makes me think of. So that's my thing.
Yeah.
So what else did you like about the cruise?
I enjoyed the food.
Well, of course.
I always enjoy the food. Tried some new things in port that I hadn't tried before. But
what about food on the ship?
The ship food was good. The gyros. No.
Shawarma?
Shawarma. The shawarma was very good. If you've never had shawarma, try it. That was really good. And then you got your Dole Whip.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, there are some things that you can only get on Disney. Dole Whip, that's one of the things I have to have. I also have to have my Mickey ice cream bar.
And Mickey waffles.
I eat Mickey waffles at breakfast. Yeah, as far as the buffet's good for breakfast, in my opinion. It's at lunch and at dinner. It's nothing super special. The main dining rooms are excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are excellent. And Disney service, as far as their crew members, is impeccable.
Yes, we had an awesome wait staff.
Jojo was our head server.
And Talita.
Mm-hmm.
So they did an absolutely amazing job.
Awesome job. Nothing negative to say about the service we received. Our room steward was perfect. I said the service was perfect. The crew was perfect. Except for one little spot. And I don't know how much it was a cruise. Disney I felt like this cruise, they were off their game just a hair. They were just kind of off their game. I like to go down and I drink energy drinks for breakfast. I usually go down and get them from the coffee shop. The first day I went down there to the coffee shop, they had to go find them on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they keep them. That's where they have them. There's two places you guarantee you can get them. You can get them at the bars most of the time too, but the coffee shop always has them. And over at the frozen place where you get Dole Whip and frozen drinks, always has them as well. I mean, they even have them sitting up on the counter to let you know you have them. Neither place had them when we got on the ship. The coffee shop, looked, said, "Oh, we don't have them." No. Keep in mind, though, as soon as the crew member noticed he didn't have them, he said, "Do you mind waiting a couple minutes?" He went and found some on the ship, brought them up there, and He was never out of them again for the rest of the cruise. He says, I guarantee you, you'll never wait again. And he was true to his word. So, I said, just a step off their game this particular time. It was a Monday. That could very well have been all it was. But believe me, that problem was immediately rectified on his end. And he remembered I wanted one every single time I went in there. I could just walk in the coffee shop and he'd be like, you want your Monster, don't you? So they fixed that problem real quick.
Yeah, the service is really good. With all of it. I mean, everywhere we went, they were real nice. And
good.
So, yeah, I think the service is one of the best out there, but that's just my personal opinion. And he's playing with the chat.
Yeah, I'm just messing around with chat, but no. So the service was really, really good. I said I don't know. It was a good cruise. I enjoyed the cruise. I liked everything about the cruise. I could have done with less children. Personal feeling on that. It's not like the kids were misbehaving. They weren't running around. They weren't being stupid. They weren't being crazy. The parents were watching them. I don't know. I guess sailing on cruises like Royal Caribbean, the feel, the atmosphere that I got from Allure of the Seas at the beginning of the month, I enjoyed that atmosphere much more than I enjoyed the Disney atmosphere.
Yeah.
But we did go see several production shows.
Yes, those were awesome.
You went and saw the Cinderella
one.
You went and saw Tangled. Is that the only two we saw?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw two production shows on the ship. Both of them were extremely well done. The cast was great. The production was great. But you got to be into those particular types of programs. Obviously, Tangled is about Rapunzel, Cinderella. So if you're not into Disney, you might not have enjoyed it as much.
I think everybody would have enjoyed Tangled. I mean, the actress that played Mother Gothel, oh my goodness, she made that whole show.
She did. She played evil so well. No, I said the cast was outstanding, but you have to be into Disney, I think, to get more enjoyment out of the show. It's really easy to go in there and appreciate the cast and the sets and the quality that they put into it, but you also have to enjoy the story, and I think some of that is being a Disney fan. You know what I mean? So, and I think you in particular love Disney so much that you're always going to think they're the best.
And that could go both ways. If the cast is bad, you might not enjoy the show.
Have we really seen a bad cast?
No, but
I don't know that I've ever been in a show and been like, oh my God, do they have a bad cast? Did they have a live orchestra or band? I'm sure you've seen it before on the stage when that piece that's near the front is sunk into the floor, and a lot of times the band and the orchestra is underneath the floor of the stage. I couldn't see down in there, so I don't actually know if it was open several times. And the actors were not using it. It wasn't, and I never was able to get front row seats, so I wasn't actually close enough to be as nosy as I usually am. Usually I'm in the front, so I'm peeking, I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm getting in other people's business. Couldn't quite get that close this time. It wasn't as important to get that close this time because they are definitely copyrighted shows. There is no photography, no filming, no anything in the theater. So it wasn't as important to be up front. We just kind of got somewhere where we could see really well.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it.
Got my popcorn bucket.
Yes, Tiffany did get her popcorn bucket. You didn't bring your popcorn bucket to show them?
No.
Oh, okay. Because they do, if you've ever been to Disney World or you follow anything about Disneyland, popcorn buckets are a super popular item for a lot of people. They stand in line to get these popcorn buckets. They have them on the cruise ships. If you ever go on a Disney cruise and you're a fan of the popcorn bucket, you get it on the very first day.
It's sold out that show.
Right. So as soon as they open up, Preludes opens up, which is where you get your popcorn, your snacks. You can get drinks and stuff before you go into the show. You want to get that on that first night during that first production show, because if you don't, you may not get it the next day, because the one Tiffany got was completely sold out the first night.
Yes. And that is an extra charge. That's not included. So.
But it was $24?
Yeah. After
Well,
taxes
it was
and
$24.
gratuity and everything, it was $24. But in the park, they're like $30.
Right. But it comes full of popcorn too.
Yes. And if you took it back every show, I think the popcorn was only like $1.
Right. But Tiffany collects the popcorn bucket. She has people who go to Disney World on a regular basis that will bring her a popcorn bucket every single time. They're starting to take over the kitchen. Because she's got popcorn buckets everywhere.
I only have 4.
That you picked up this year. That's just the ones you picked up in the last, I don't even think it's a year, it's the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
That you picked up that many popcorn buckets. But yeah, that's a good Disney tip. If you like the popcorn buckets, get those on the very first night.
JNS Adventure says, hey everyone.
Hello, welcome to the show. We are just here talking about the Disney magic.
That sounds like fun, Tiffany. Maybe you can show your collection on a future video. That's an idea.
She has no problem doing that. She'll have them all lined up for you. She loves those popcorn buckets.
Yeah, I have one that sings too, so.
She does love her popcorn buckets, but if that's the worst fight she comes up with is popcorn buckets, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're absolutely okay. So it was just a short cruise, 4 nights. We made a stop in Progreso.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had a really great day in Progreso.
I did too. I did too. Walking around, looking at lizards.
Yeah. Now, Progreso is an underrated port, in my opinion. There's a lot of people who don't like Progreso. The port itself is very industrial. The little port area where the ship docks is pretty small. I did hear, no confirmation, no facts involved in this, but I heard that they are expanding the port in Progreso, and there was some construction going on. But I heard they're going to expand that port because they want to be able to start competing more with Cozumel. So I think there's going to be a big expansion going on in Progreso. But like I said, that was just kind of the scuttlebutt that was going around the cruise port.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's how much fact that is steeped in or any kind of timeline. But yeah, so we hopped off in Progreso. There is a free shuttle, though, that runs every 20 minutes from the cruise port. It runs the 2 or 3 miles down the pier because it's a very long pier. Drops you off down in Merida. Absolutely free. You just hop on, hop off down there. And then we just walked up and down the boardwalk along the beach on both sides. We went on the tourist side,
Mm-hmm.
all the way down, and then we went down on the local side.
Mm-hmm.
If you go down the cruise pier, and as you're going down the cruise pier towards town, the left-hand side is the more of the touristy stuff. That's where your restaurants are and all that kind of stuff are down on the left. Down on the right-hand side kind of goes in front of a neighborhood, but there is some stuff down there to see. The public beaches down there, and it was very, very quiet. The locals don't mess with you.
Mm-mm.
Never felt unsafe just walking on our own.
I will tell you though, the one thing I did not like about Progreso,
Oh, yeah, the bathrooms.
I wound up needing to go to the bathroom, and you have to pay to go to the bathrooms there. And we finally went and stopped and had lunch and went to the restaurant, and you don't have to pay if you're in the restaurant, but everywhere else, I even saw the sign that said bathrooms, and it had the price. I think it was like
5 pesos.
Well, the one when we were walking, it was 20 pesos.
Oh, 20
So
pesos.
just be aware that there are no public bathrooms and free public bathrooms.
If you're self-wandering around town, yeah, the public bathrooms are not free. They cost pesos, and
At the time, we didn't have any pesos.
we didn't even have any coins,
Yeah.
one way or the other. So yeah, that is a very good tip that we learned this last time.
Yeah.
So you can, go in the restaurant and stuff like that, you're fine. But just public walking around. And we started to notice, even when we were, in town itself, away from the beach, there were actual signs, for like, this is a restroom stop. And, it costs money.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep, be advised of. Yeah, if you're self-wandering around Progreso, you might want to have some pesos in your pocket if you need to go to the bathroom frequently.
Yeah.
So
cruising is fun anytime says hello, and JNS Adventures, we love Progreso except for the constant hustle.
we saw that where the shuttle drops you off, it does drop you off in a straw market, flea market type little area. And so you kind of have to walk through it to get over to the beach access road. So there's a little bit of hustle in there, the usual shop hustle. Come check out my stuff, come see what I have, that you normally get. And a little bit when we first came out on the street. And then everybody up and down there seems to want to give you a massage.
Yes.
I think we got like 30 offers for a massage.
Yes.
Now, if you're into the massage, they only wanted like $25, $30 to do the massage.
For half an hour, which is a lot cheaper than on the cruise ship.
So you can get a good massage, at a decent price if you're into it.
Yes.
So, but I mean, there is a little bit of hustle and bustle, but I would say probably no more than you see in any of the others, honestly.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I would think it's pretty a standard hustle and bustle.
And the place we stopped for at lunch, what do you think?
The place we stopped for, okay, now I can't even remember the name of it. It's in a video that'll be out, I think, next week, for the exact name of it. But as soon as you come up towards the beach, it's right there on the left. If you've ever been to Progreso, there's a big white statue, and it's right to the left of it. So we went in there, and they gave us this menu. This place was crazy. They gave us this menu, and it said it was a snack menu.
Yes.
It was like snack serving, snack sizes. It had your basic things on it. You get a quesadilla, some guacamole, some tacos, stuff like that. And we even asked the server, this says snack size, so these are small, right? And he's like, oh yeah, they're like this big. The little plates. Okay, so we ordered some guacamole, we ordered a little thing of nachos, and the beef tacos. So we could just share amongst the table. Yeah. No.
Well, before they brought the guacamole and they brought the chips.
The guacamole bowl was this big and like this deep.
And then they brought this tray and started putting all these plates on the table. There was like 5 different plates.
That are complimentary now.
Yes, because we're like, we didn't order this. And he's like, no, free. So there was squid on there. There was fish. There was
garlic bread, the black beans, the
weenies,
the sausage, the
potato salad,
the salsa creme fraiche.
Yes.
Potatoes.
There was a potato salad thing.
Oh yeah, the potato salad, the bread, the chips, the salt. Yeah, it was.
I mean, it covered the whole table.
It covered the complete table. Then they brought out the tacos, and then they brought out the nachos. Again, not this big. Wait till you see the video. The plate was this big around. The nachos stood about this tall. They brought us so much food, way more than the small snack plates that he said. There was no way that Tiffany and I were going to eat all this food. There had to have been enough food there for 6-7 people.
Yeah.
But he was right. It was complimentary. When it was all said and done, we paid $30.
After everything, it was $35.
It was $35. And it was probably enough food to feed 7 people.
Yes, there was a lot.
And it was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. But yeah, if you ever go there, don't be fooled by that. It's snack menu thing.
Yeah.
No. It's much bigger than snack menu. So, and like I said, we thought it was small, so we figured we order 3 things. It's enough for us to get taste a couple of different things, try to share a few things. Oh God, it was so much food.
Yeah, we didn't eat dinner that night.
Yeah, it was so much food that by the time we skipped dinner on the ship that night and didn't even eat until after. We finally ended up eating like at 9 o'clock that night. We went over and grabbed a burger because we just were absolutely so full still at dinner time that couldn't eat.
Yeah.
couldn't eat. And if you have been on a Disney cruise, or if you haven't been on a Disney cruise, Disney has a unique dining thing that they do. So on board Disney ships, they have 3 main restaurants, and each one of the restaurants is themed. So all of their ships have what's called Animator's Palette, and then 2 other restaurants on board a ship, and those other 2 vary from ship to ship. In our case, it was Rapunzel's Royal Table, and which is of course themed after Tangled and Rapunzel's story, and then we had Lumiere's, which is Beauty and the Beast. And you do what's called rotational dining. So you're assigned to a dining room each night, and then it rotates. And like on our night, we had a 4-night, so we repeated Lumiere's. So we had 2 nights of Lumiere's, once in Rapunzel's, once in Animator's Palette. But it's pretty cool because your wait staff, you have the same table number in all the restaurants, and you have the same wait staff in all the restaurants. So when you rotate restaurants, your wait staff rotates with you. So you have the same servers, same everything every night, because they learn what you want on the first night, what you like to drink, and boom, it is there every night after that.
Yeah. And then they make recommendations based on what you like.
They start to make the recommendations, but we've had recommendations from servers on all the cruise ships, no matter what cruise lines.
Yeah.
I've never had a bad one.
Jojo liked to play tricks with us.
Yeah, we learned to play card tricks and things like that. So they definitely go above and beyond when it comes to service. The food in the dining rooms is great. But say you get a different theme each night, a different rotation. So luckily, when we were super full from Progreso, it was one of our extra nights in Lumiere, so we didn't miss one of the theme restaurants.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, too, they'll do a show inside the theme restaurant as well, depending on what the theme is. So we had Rapunzel, Flynn Rider, and some of the characters from Tangled were in that dinner.
Yeah.
We
celebrated Rapunzel's birthday.
Right, we celebrated Rapunzel's birthday. In Animator's Palette, you get Sorcerer Mickey, because it's all about the magic and the color and the paintings coming alive on the walls and things like that. Which one was your favorite?
Probably Animator's Palette. That one is still my favorite.
Okay, so which Animator's Palette, though? On the newer cruise ships, the Animator's Palette is different than it is on the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder.
Right.
They still have the old Animator's Palette. They don't have the new one where you have Crush the Turtle talking to you on the walls.
I like the older ones, like the one we were just at, because sitting there eating dinner, trying to guess what they're drawing, because you see them sketching the drawings out. And they start with the pencil, and they've got the lines through the circles and everything like that, and just going through trying to figure out, okay, who are they drawing? And then as the night progresses, the drawings get more detailed. They start adding color, and then they come to life.
Yep, and then they animate, and once they animate, the lights in the room start changing. Sorcerer Mickey. It's a whole show. Of course, I got a video for you guys about that.
So I think Animator's Palette is my favorite. And out of the old Animator's Palette and the new Animator's Palette, yeah, it was fun drawing on the table placemat and then seeing our drawings on the wall and everything. But I like guessing who are they drawing,
Absolutely. So, well, how about Pirate Night?
Pirate Night was awesome. Now, that was a night that we skipped dinner, but Pirate Night, they revamped the whole pirate party. I mean, it was awesome. They had adults up there rocking it out, and then the fireworks afterwards. So, yeah, I love Disney's fireworks at sea.
Yeah, so that's Disney. Again, if you haven't sailed on Disney, that is Disney's big deck party. It's Pirate Night. They encourage you don't have to, but they encourage you to wear pirate costumes, pirate stuff. They provide you pirate bandanas if you didn't bring any pirate stuff. It's a big deck party. They have all of the characters, Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Chippendale, all them out on the stage, all wearing their pirate costumes, and they do a big pirate show.
And then you have to decide if you want to be a good pirate or a bad pirate.
Yeah, then Captain Hook comes out, and they take over the ship, and then Captain Mickey comes in and saves. It's a big production. And it's good. It's a very good one. and that leads into the big fireworks at sea.
Mm-hmm.
You see fireworks at sea, and then the usual song and dance. And this is where I'll give Disney, I guess, a little bit, or the one thing I like about a particular Disney deck party. Don't get me wrong, deck parties in the other cruise lines are good, but when you cruise often, you'll start to notice that the songs that they play at the deck parties, like on Royal and Carnival, are the exact same songs, cruise after cruise after cruise, night after night after night. You can go to 3 deck parties during one cruise and hear the exact same songs all 3 nights.
You're going to do the electric slide and the wobble every time.
Yeah, you're going to do the electric slide and the wobble so many times in a single cruise, and thankfully we never heard either one of those two on the Disney cruise at all. They actually did some songs and some music that you don't normally hear. The dog is whining at the door. This is like becoming a routine thing with that dog whining at the door. He really wants to come in here and just make a whole bunch of racket. Yeah, so the Disney deck party, that's really, other than the sail away deck party, that's their big deck party, at least on shorter cruises.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot of fun. Definitely got that one on video. I was up in a good position to record. I want to say I got there an hour and a half early to make sure I had my spot. And boom, I could see and record and not miss anything. I was early to everything.
Yes.
Absolutely everything.
Let him in. I want to see him.
All right, we'll let him in. Hopefully he doesn't make a whole bunch of racket. Oh, here he comes. There he is. He's going crazy. He does not like to be on the other side of a locked door or a closed door, but he has a tendency to make a lot of noise and be be very problematic when we let him in the room.
Desiree says hi there, cutie.
And yeah, when I film videos in the house, I usually have to trick him or something like that to keep him out of the room. Otherwise, all you'll hear is his paw clicking around on the floor when I'm just trying to record, regular videos here at the house. So what else about the cruise did you enjoy?
I had something and then I forgot it. Dog brain.
All right.
I had fun making towel animals with my room steward,
Oh.
even though he had to correct some of them. But
Yes, Tiffany did have tried to have towel animal wars with the room steward. Okay, you gotta put them back out again because they're just gonna click. All right, well, she's gonna put them back out real quick because, like I said, we have hardwood floors and their paws will just make all kinds of things. So Tiffany did have towel animal wars with the. He always is. He is one of the happiest, friendliest dogs of all time when it comes to Tiffany and I. He's just absolutely happy to be with us, but I said he's very noisy when you're trying to do videoing.
yes.
He just doesn't quite get that concept.
Yeah.
But Tiffany did have Towel Animal Wars. Did you have fun doing that?
I did.
Room Stewart won.
Very much so.
He absolutely won the towel animals.
But he said it did make his day to go in there and see what he was gonna find.
He enjoyed the game, but he won the game.
Yeah, he did.
I know I put a picture of it up on Facebook, and it's in one of the videos. But the last one he did was like some kind of Aztec headdress.
That was on Pirate Night.
On Pirate Night that he made out of a blanket. I mean, it was one of the most elaborate ones I've seen. I've never seen it before. Tiffany made a bull the first day. He was happy to see it. He fixed it for her, and then made 2 more towel animals to trump her the first day.
Yeah.
And she had fun. He had fun. That's all that matters.
Yes. I made his day.
I laughed.
I pulled the book out and Chris goes, again.
Well, first of all, she's got her carnival towel animal book. And And the towels on the Disney cruise ship are not the same size exactly as they are on Carnival. So the Carnival book, it had some problems on the Disney ship because the towel sizes are just a little bit different, and that book is specifically designed for the towel sizes on Carnival. So I think you'd have done better on a Carnival ship simply because your towels would have matched better.
Yes.
So I think that made a little bit of difference. But both of y'all had fun with it, and that's really what matters.
Oh, I liked the activities. That was what I was thinking. They had a lot of activities other than just trivia and stuff like that. We got to do, there was crafts in the morning, so little souvenirs. I made a Pascal. He didn't quite make it home. He got wet.
I'm pretty awful at origami.
Yeah, we did the origami.
Did you experience seasickness? No. In all of the cruises we have ever taken, only one time have we ever had seasickness. That was on the Grandeur of the Seas. We were at the edge of a hurricane. The weather was terrible. We had a cabin up near the bow of the ship, and it was rocking and rolling. And the bed was
not facing the right way to rock this way. We were rocking head to foot. We
had an ocean view cabin, so the bed was underneath the window. So as the ship rocked, the bed went like this instead of like this. And it made it a little bit rough. But normally, no. Never, other than that one time, we've never ever had a problem with seasickness. I know there's some people that it affects really bad.
Yeah.
And we just happen to get lucky and be the two that it just generally doesn't.
Now, when we get back, I have what they call land legs, I guess, for a couple days after. And I was actually still experiencing that yesterday at work.
I don't get that anymore.
Yeah. So.
I don't get that anymore, but I think I spend more time at sea than you do.
Yeah.
So I get that a lot less than, our first year. I really don't have any effects too much anymore.
Mm-hmm. No.
My knees get a little bit sore near the end of the cruise from walking up and down the stairs so much.
Yeah.
Usually by the last day, I'm taking that elevator a whole lot more than I do the first few days.
Yeah. Definitely.
But that's just age catching up with me there. Not quite as spry as I used to be.
But yeah, there's lots of activities. You did the game show, the Marvel game show.
I lost at the Marvel game show, but yes, I did do it.
Yes.
We did origami.
I'm
not good at origami.
I'm not either.
We lost a lot of trivia.
We always lose a lot of trivia, but we keep trying.
Yeah, our losing streak in trivia is growing. It has been a hot minute since we have won a trivia. Wow. We are on a severe trivia losing streak. And we study. We try to study and prepare ahead of time.
I've been listening to Disney music for 6 months.
And we still get stumped and everything like that when it comes actually to the trivia. And there's a lot of activities to do on the ship. But a lot of them are geared towards the younger. Like I said, you can go down in the morning, you can color and make little paper Disney characters, which of course you really enjoy. Mm-hmm. I watched. Things like that.
Lots of character meetings.
There's definitely a lot of character meetings.
And then of course on Disney, for those that have youngers or littles, they have the Bippity Boppity Boutique that you can take them to. Very expensive though. But you can have them go and...
Yeah, you have to have a kid that's 12 or younger. So if you're Tiffany, you just protest at the door. Yeah. She is one cruise away from having a sign out there because they won't let her in.
Actually, they will let you in and you can get pixie dusted. I just didn't want glitter everywhere.
She wants to get dressed up. Okay, so she gets very upset. They have a couple activities on the ship, the Bippity Boppity Boutique, and they do a princess tea party that you also have to have a child that is 12 or younger to attend. And she's one step away from, getting ready to rumble with a princess because they won't let her in. She's the biggest child at heart on these Disney cruises, which is super awesome to see. But there's some places they won't let her into.
Yes.
And I completely understand they would not let me into the Marvel Academy. I tried to tell them I was 11. They did not believe me at all, but I tried.
Yeah, in the Oceaneers, it's Oceaneers Club,
In the
right?
kids' clubs.
In the kids' clubs, they do the Marvel Academy for the kids. So he laughs at me about my bippity boppity boutique, but I laugh at him about Marvel Academy. So.
Yeah, they won't let me in there either. So I understand. There's a lot of activities that are specific for kids that I wish we could get experience a little bit more. Hence why we're going to try to take the grandkids on there before they get above 12. That way we can attend all of these events and blame it on them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's how we're going to do that. So, what did you dislike about the cruise? Did you have anything you didn't care for? Or that you wish it had been a little bit different?
I think Embarkation was a little long. And then Disembarkation, I've gotten so used to not having my passport out that I had to remember to pull it out.
Because they don't use the facial recognition.
Because they don't use the facial recognition. So that took a little bit longer. I also didn't see the lost and found because I was looking for the lost and found for you to pick up your cord.
Yes.
So I have no idea where that was.
Yeah, we're not real sure what happened there. Yeah, they did. So I did have my power strip with me. It wasn't a surge protector, wasn't anything like that. And they confiscated it. They took it. I went down to customer service and asked them about it. And they said, well, an electrician checks it. And they determined that it's not safe for the ship. So they confiscated it. I did go look on Disney's website. And it does say that you are not supposed to have a power strip. Doesn't say a surge protector. It says don't bring power strips. Now, the part about that I guess, I don't know. I've used it on Disney ships multiple times. I've used it on Carnival. I've used it on Royal. I know they're all different cruise lines. But I've used it multiple times on Disney. I've never had a problem. It's a cruise-approved one. But they offered to give me one to use while I was on the ship after they took mine. And it's like, okay, well, what's the difference between the two? And of course, they don't really know. They can't answer the question. People at customer service, they don't actually know. They just kind of give you the factory answer to everything. There were USB plugs inside the room, so it was manageable. But I don't know. I have a varying opinion on that one, I guess.
Yeah.
I could see it if it was, a surge protector, because you can't have those the way the electric works on cruise ships. But if you're going to take just a basic power strip with some USB plugs in it, and then you're going to offer a power strip with USB plugs in it, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion, though. If you want to cruise, you got to do what the cruise line says.
So what were your dislikes?
Oh, I have a couple for Disney, and keep in mind, these are just personal preferences more than they are dislikes. There was nothing on the cruise that made me go, this just sucks. I'll never cruise with Disney again. We're not those kind of people. So I guess it would be more just minor things that I would prefer. In my opinion, for all the things that Disney does really, really great, quick service food on Disney is not up to what other cruise lines do. Yes, you can get a burger and some fries out by the pool, but it is not Guy's Burgers and Fries. You can get a piece of pizza, but it is not Sorrento's in any way, shape, or form. To the point, we did not eat a single slice of pizza from the pizzeria on the ship because we already know we don't care for it. It's not as good as some of the other cruise lines can be. So their quick service food is a little, it tastes more like park food, theme park food than it should be like on a cruise ship, I guess, is kind of my feeling on that. I'm sure you've been in the buffet like on Royal Caribbean and you get the burger out of the buffet. It's, you're not you're not posting Instagram pictures of that particular burger. Excuse me. The burger you get out by the pool is no different than that, in my opinion. It's just, a frozen patty. I don't know. It's just not as good. With the exception of the shawarma. Shawarma is super good, and Daisy's Delights is really good. So Daisy's Delights, you get sandwiches. It's kind of like the Park Cafe or Cafe Promenade on Royal Caribbean, and I guess like the deli on a Carnival cruise ship, but they're cold sandwiches. But their roast beef with the spicy horseradish sauce.
Turkey with the cranberry.
Tiffany had turkey with cranberry. Those are really, really good.
You get salads there, fruit. They can make a bowl for you.
Mm-hmm. So, but I still think that, overall, if you compare their quick service meals versus some of the other cruise lines out there, I think they are a little below in that particular category. But they're also catering to a lot of kids playing around the pool. So you can always get some chicken nuggets and some fries and a hot dog. And I think that's actually what they're targeting as far as their audience goes.
Yes.
But on the plus side, though, too, they have ice cream. Now, all the cruise lines have ice cream, but I noticed on Disney goes way beyond the vanilla chocolate strawberry that you get on a lot of cruise lines. Disney has banana. They had a mint ice cream one day. They had a pineapple coconut out there. I think those are the 3 different flavors I saw, on top of the fact that they have the vanilla chocolate strawberry. So they definitely have a step up in the ice cream.
Yes.
As far as that goes. I mean, it's hard to think of, it's really a bit of a preference. I thought there was way more kids on there than I thought there would be in January.
For the time of year, yeah.
For the time of year. Specifically just to that time of year. Figured it was after Christmas, near the end of January, not as warm, kids in school. There may be less kids on the ship. But that was not the case. It was absolutely full of kids. And I think I got really spoiled because when we did the Disney Wonder in January of 2022, just a few months after the restart of cruising, there was a lot less people on the ship, and there were almost no kids on the ship that particular time, because at that time Disney still required the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was kind of expecting a similar experience we had on the Wonder, and it wasn't bad. Nothing negative. It just was a different experience. And so I feel like I enjoyed it last time more than I enjoyed it this time. But who wouldn't enjoy it when the ship's half empty and quiet?
Yeah.
But you still get all the Disney fun without all the people. So, but I also happen to think that the Disney parks and all that Disney stuff is way overcrowded. That Disney cares more about the buck than they do the experience of the actual guest. Again, my opinion. Disney cruises are not for everybody.
No.
And I said, Tiffany may disagree. She has her own opinion because that is your favorite. But I think when it honestly comes down to a dollar for dollar comparison, I think Disney cruises are way overpriced for what you get versus, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, and those other cruise lines. Because for what it costs to go on one Disney cruise, you could easily go sometimes, depending on your itinerary, you can go 2 to 3 cruises on another cruise line for the same price. So Disney would not be at the top of my list of particular cruises. But what do you think?
I get that. I understand that. Yes, I'm a huge Disney fan. Everybody knows I'm a huge Disney fan. But, I mean, you've given me the option, we can go to Alaska. Do you want to go on Disney or do you want to go on this cruise line? And without a doubt, I would go on the other cruise line just because I know the cost of Disney. The one reason we go in January is because it is the cheaper.
Well, that's one of the only times of year. Remember,
we
the Disney
sell Galveston, but it's also a lot cheaper for
Right.
that
first.
time of year for Disney.
Right. Well, because they're here in November and December, so they got the holiday fairs. Then they hit January, beginning of February, so naturally the fairs are less expensive.
Right.
And they're actually selling out of Galveston because they don't sell from Galveston year round. They only sell, 3-4 months a year right now. Maybe that will change with Galveston growing the way it's growing. And Disney has 2 new cruise ships still scheduled to come out, the Disney Treasure and then the third Titan unnamed ship coming out. Maybe that'll change up. Maybe Galveston, the way it's growing, will get a more full-time Disney ship and we may see some other stuff. Don't know. Now, this won't be our last Disney cruise because it is Tiffany's favorite. And it's her bucket list item to go on every single one of the Disney ships. She still has the Disney Wish to go that's currently available to go on, and then the Disney Treasure when it comes out.
Yeah.
But she's gotten the original 4 down now. Because she's now been on the Fantasy, the Dream, the Magic, and the Wonder.
Yes.
So we got your first 4 knocked out.
Got the first 4 knocked out. So.
Yeah. And they didn't have a ship model for this particular ship.
No, the guy in the thing said that when they came in, they were broke and
they never were able to get any more in. They cited, supply issues, everything like that. Because, and I've seen this question in other forums and stuff like that. One thing to remember is the cruise line does not own the gift shops. They don't own the merchandise and stuff that's in the gift shops. That is a third-party company that comes on and does that and brings that merchandise in to sell. So when the gift shop doesn't have the ship model, it's not Disney's fault. It's a supply issue with that manufacturer that supplies that gift shop. Yeah, so I wasn't able to get a ship model, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I try to get a ship model for every ship I've been on. So a little bummed by that, but what are you going to do?
not get it.
Yeah, not get it. I mean, throw my hands in the air and knock you back on the cruise ship. That's crazy. It's just a bit of a bummer. But overall, it was a successful cruise. It was a good cruise. The bed was super comfortable. Disney does make a great mattress. Super soft, super comfortable. The room was good. The ship was good. And for being a ship that's been in service since 1998, it was done?
98.
From 98. So Disney Magic was their first official cruise ship. So it's the oldest in the Disney fleet. You wouldn't know it just by looking at the ship. I mean, it was immaculate.
But they're constantly, you pull into port and they're painting the sides of the ship and
scrubbing and cleaning, washing. And Disney is immaculate on the care of their ships. Can't lie about that.
Yeah.
For a ship that was, put into service in 1998, she looked spectacular. Spectacular.
Yeah. And just the cleanliness of her. You even commented you didn't see cups and plates in the hallways and the stairwells and stuff like that. So
some of that has to do with the cleanliness of the crew, and some of that I think all has to do with the passengers on the ship.
Yes.
But yeah, there was crew everywhere, always helpful, always cleaning, always wiping. Excuse me, doing something.
Yeah.
Mountain Cedar here in Texas kicks my butt about this time every year. But I think that's just about everything on the Disney cruise. I don't think we're missing anything.
No.
Said it was a good cruise. It's one of those ones that if you're interested in doing a Disney cruise, I do recommend it. I recommend trying it, especially if you are a Disney fan. But it is more expensive than any other cruise out there, so definitely look for a time of year that you can go. If you look, you can find some less expensive prices for Disney here and there. It's not often. It's definitely not every one of their cruises. Right now, if you try to book the Disney Wish versus the Disney Magic or the Disney Wonder, you're going to pay way more to go on the Wish because that's their new ship. But if you're willing to sail an older ship just to get the Disney experience to try it out, you can get a shorter cruise on one of their older ships at a pretty reasonable price. But again, you need to be into Disney in some way, shape, or form because everything about the cruise is Disney. Every decoration on the ship is Disney. Every theme has something to do with Disney. It's Disney in your face all day, every day. So you got to enjoy it a little bit. And like I said, it's not my favorite cruise, but it's still a good cruise. I still have fun.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it. The kid in me still likes it. But as I said, if you don't want to be around a whole bunch of kids, then Disney's not going to be for you.
No.
And it's kind of a trade-off. So, because you guys know, if you go on one of the other cruise lines, you're going to see a lot more scooters. But if you can go on Disney, I don't think we saw any scooters, but we saw a whole bunch of strollers. So it, kind of one way or the other.
Yeah.
One way or the other. But I'm about 40 days, give or take, from my next cruise. Now, my next cruise is going to be a solo cruise. It's going to be on Radiance of the Seas. It is a 9-night cruise. I'm going to be going over to the Eastern Caribbean side, doing Key West, Nassau, Bahamas, Bimini, and Perfect Day, Coco Key before it hits Cozumel, and then coming back to Galveston. So that's going to be up next. It's about 40 days, 40 some odd days away. It's in March. Second or third week in March, I think it is. Something like that. I'd have to look to give you guys the exact dates. But do you have anything else on your Disney cruise? Any final thoughts? Any final thing you want to share? Information, tips, tricks?
I just went blank. No, I just reiterate, if you're a Disney fan, I highly recommend a Disney cruise. If you're not a Disney fan, it's probably not for you. You'd probably be better off cruising on another line. But if you are a Disney fan, you're going to get Disney 24/7.
Yeah, if you want your picture with Mickey Mouse, you will get it.
Yes.
I promise you, you'll have about 12 opportunities to do it.
Yeah.
A day. Because it's everywhere. All right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and hop off of here for tonight. If anybody has any other Disney questions, any general questions whatsoever, feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll be happy to answer any and all of those questions for everybody out there. Thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us for the live, that we can share our Disney experience with you. We should be back in about 2 weeks to do our next live video, and just to kind of cover everything going on in cruising at that particular time.
Yeah.
That should be right around Valentine's Day, I believe. It's going to be our Valentine cruise special. The Love Boat. All right. No? All right. All right. Again, thank you, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Tongue tied. If you haven't done so yet, if you guys would do me a favor while you're on here, do me a favor, hit that like button. There's going to be our first sea day will be out tomorrow morning on board the Disney Magic. So if you're interested in that, come on over, take a look at that video.
It's always a pleasure listening to your cruise adventures. I will be going on the Royal Caribbean Grandeur of the Sea in October of this year. I'm so excited. You're going to love it.
Yeah, hopefully Grander's got her situation fixed by then. Grander's currently having a little bit of engine problems. I'm sure by October they'll have that situated. Fortunately, Grander is Royal Caribbean's oldest cruise ship, and I think she's starting to show her age a little bit mechanically.
But I had a lot of fun on that ship.
Yeah, she was a good
that
cruise.
ship.
It was a really good cruise. But we appreciate you being here. We're always happy to share our adventures with everybody. Hopefully we all learn something from cruising. I like getting information from you guys. Hopefully the information we share is helpful. It's useful. Like I said, biggest thing to remember, though, is these are just our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
It's how we feel about our cruising. Excuse me. The adventures we have, the things we see, the things we do, it may not be for everybody. But hopefully somebody gets something from it. At least that's the goal of this, right?
Yes.
One big cruising community, and we share it. All right, well, we're going to hop off of here. We're going to go have some dinner. Get ready to relax for the rest of the evening. But again, thank you, everybody, for coming. And like always,
We'll see you out on the high seas.
good night, everybody.